previously we talked about solving percents with proportions, and there was kind of some verbiage that if we just know how the verbiage goes, we know how to plug in the pieces. Okay? And what was that? What did we put over what? What does that fraction look like, or that proportion look like? We said is over of equals percent over 100. Okay? That's what we dealt with. And we knew when we read the story problem, as we read it, we could fill in the pieces and put the variable in where we had a missing piece. Well, with the equation, it's no different. Only it's the way you lay it out. Okay? The percent of, we've got the is equals percent times of. That's your verbiage. It's just the way that you lay it out is different. Okay? And so this right here is the key. That's the key to being able to set up your equation. That's what you got to make. We're still using the is and the of and the percent, but we've just taken out that divide by 100. Percent over 100. Okay? So, with that being said, let's take a look at a couple of things. Let's see what we can do with this. Now, again, remembering this is equals percent times the of. What number is, so it's asking me what number there, so that's my x. What number is 30% of 60? Oops, I didn't give myself enough room. Because the word of typically tells us to multiply. Okay? Now, if I was going to put that in my calculator without using the percent symbol, what would I put in? What would I put in? Yeah. X equals 0.3 times 60. And can you solve for x then? Can you, Caden?
Yeah.
What do you get, bud?
Would it be 20?
I don't think so. What's it going to be there, Mr. John?
180.
I don't think so. You've got 0.3 times 180. So what's it going to be, Miss Savannah? 18. So if I go back to the sentence, 18 is 30% of 60. Okay? Now, here's the next one. 25 is what percent of 75? How do I write that equation? Somebody help me with this. How am I going to write it? Trenton. 25 what?
Equals,
Yep, keep going.
75 or
X times what?
75.
There you go. Can I write it just like that if I want to? That's exactly how you set that up. 25 is or equals x times 75. Can you solve for x? It's a one-step equation. How am I going to solve for it? How would I solve for it, Ben? Divide 25 by 75? Okay, divide both sides by 75 though, right? So, x equals, it equals what, Aaron?
I had an extra. This back row had an extra, but I didn't know Aaron had it.
Well,
I don't have one.
I've got 4 here. Here, you keep yours. I've got 4. No, I've got 5. It looks like. And who else? Did I get everybody? Put one right there for her, please. Thank you. Now, does everybody have one? Okay. Was there one there for These two, Olivia, okay, so they've got them, all right. All right. Okay, so what's the answer on number 2? What is its answer? Zoe? 3 what though? 3%. You gotta look back and see what X was, and X was a percentage, and so I've gotta have my percent symbol there. Because now then, 25 is 3% of 75. Yes, ma'am. It was a repeating decimal?
Yeah.
Then yes, you are correct. It's 3 1/3%. Don't drop the repeat off. Okay? Good job. 3 1/3%. Set it up. 42 is 105% of what number? 42 is 105%. Can I go ahead and write that as a decimal?
Yeah.
And how would I write 105% as a decimal?
1 500.
Good. Of what number? Is that equation correct, the way I have it set up? It's really very simple. I like it. You're confused.
I like
You like the other way better. That's fine. Now, the only time you have to use this way, though, is when, like, writing this lesson today, you have to show it this way. Have to. Because that's the whole purpose of the lesson, is to have it where you can write and solve for the percent using the percent equation. So you got to use the equation to learn how to do it. Gabriel. Gabriel knows what X is. Everybody ready for this? Kennedy, do you have the value of X figured? Okay. Gabriel, what is X?
X equals 44.1.
44.1. 42 is 105% of 44.1. I don't think that makes sense. Could be though, but I don't think so.
I divided it and I got 1.05. 44.1 divided by 42 is. No, because it was a low number, the fraction of that added on to that low number.
It's 40. 42 is 105% of 40. Let me see your calculator, sir. Okay, you should have taken 42 divided by, yep, and that would be the problem. Miss Shelley, will you turn my fan on back there? It's like miserable to me. Okay, did everybody get 40 now? How am I gonna set up number 4? Let's give this a try. Somebody, oh, Landon.
X equals 0.8 or 8/10 times 120.
Nice job, Landon. Nice job. Let's just go ahead and finish setting them up. What about number 5? How do I set number 5 up? How am I going to set it up? Cooper?
I put 45 over 100 equals X.
You're using proportions. I do not want a proportion. You must use the equation. Must. So 45 is what percent of 100?
45%.
Isn't that what we're talking about though? Okay. Now then, when you solve, I agree. You're going to divide 45 by 100, which would give you X equals 45%. But the equation is 45 equals 100X. Have to have an equation. Okay? Kennedy, what about the last one? I think you can set it up. Tell me how to do it. Okay, now read it again. 91 is, so do I change the 91 at all? So 91 is, go back to your statement, sweetie. The word is what symbol? Okay. Now, go from there. What's your percent look like as a decimal? And do I know the number? Or is that what I'm looking for? Okay? So somebody tell me, what number is 80% of 120? Have you got it figured out yet?
No.
Get it figured really quickly. What number is 80% of 120? What number is that, Miss Sophia? So see, Sophia says x equals 96. 96 is 80% of 120. 45 is what percent of 100? We did that one. 91 is 65% of what number? What? Are you lost? Did I lose you?
No, I was.
Are you okay? What number?
How do we solve these? Because like, do we multiply it or divide it like?
Oh, this is a one-step equation, ladies and gentlemen. How do we solve one-step equations? What do we have to do? We've been doing it since school started, but it's a good question. Wesley, get the variable alone, absolutely correct. And in order to get the variable alone, don't we do the inverse operation? Okay, so what is the inverse of multiplication? Division. So to solve number 6, we have to divide both sides by 0.65 or by 65%. Then this one cancels, leaving the x behind. 91 is 65% of what number? Haley,
140.
say it again.
140.
140. Do you agree with Haley? If you take 91 divided by 65%, 0.65, you get 140. Good job. Does that give you the review you need for being able to solve it? Okay, do this one on your own. Write it and do it. You got it. That's exactly it. And you were scared, weren't you? I almost did. But I disagree with that. Multiply those two together. Because x is already over here by itself, so you don't have to. Okay? Okay. You go back to number 8. Which one are you confused on? This one? What number, that's your x, is, it's the exact same thing as, it's that right there. What is this, 0.8? Okay, so multiply 0.8 times 120. that make sense to you now? The only time you use the inverse operation is if you've gotta move it to get rid of get x by itself. See here, x is already by itself. Yeah, these you have to divide because look at your equation. Okay, does that make sense? Okay? All right, what number is 24% of 50? I need somebody to go to the board, write it on the board. I want somebody that's not, Mr. Zane, go. You haven't spoke to me yet this morning. Yeah, you're close. Give me that up that horn, watch me. Watch me. And I'll watch you.
I won't do it.
Riley, you're
I won't do it.
Don't tell the teacher that. It's not wise
It's like
to
telling
sit
your
there.
parent you're not gonna take out
You
the
said
trash.
you're
gonna take the trash out.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Mr. Zane, you gotta show your work. You gotta show the percent equation. No, you gotta do it, so write it.
I don't know.
We're going to though. What number, do we know the number?
Yeah.
But no, we didn't. So if we don't know the number, that has to be the variable, right? Okay? What number is 24% of 50? How did you figure out 24% of 50, sir? So you did this. Is that not your percent equation, right there? Yes, it is. Okay, and Mr. Zane, on your assignment, I have to see the percent equation on every one of them. Okay? And, oh, by the way, I'm grading the assignments, so I'll know whether you're doing it or not. Got my message?
Yes.
Yeah, no cheating. This is important. This is important enough that you have to do it. It is how you did it. All you had to do was write it, babe. Okay? All right. Do we have questions, folks? Question?
What if we put x equals 0.4?
Is, are these two statements exactly the same?
Yes.
Yes. Okay? They are exactly the same. And if I read this sentence, what number is 24% of 50? That follows the written documentation. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I thought we did the inverse operation to get 12 you do that.
Okay, here's the question. Is x already alone?
Yes.
Then do I need to do the inverse operation or do I just need to do the math?
Just math.
The only time I use the inverse operation is when x is lumped with something else, just like it was in number 2. See, number 2, x was in the middle of the sentence. So I had to use the inverse operation to get it by itself. These are one-step equations like we've been doing in 6th grade and pretty much this year. So look at this one. 5 is what percent of 25? Write the sentence, the numerical sentence and symbols, mathematical sentence. Well, I don't see your sentence. Wait a minute. 9.5 is, okay, I agree with that. Then what'd you do to get there? Okay, but what? So you're right. So now you're right. You got your percentage. You are absolutely right. Yes. Here. Go. Thank you. Yes. Riley, you're going to the board. I'm telling you. You need to stop. Do you tell your mama no? Yes.
Yes.
Do you get away with it? Okay then. Come on. Stop that. Or you're gonna push me into doing this. Yeah. It messes with me too, but I don't want to climb on it. Explain. You are absolutely right. Explain. Perfect. Oh, wait. Where's your decimal? Should you have that decimal? No, you don't have what?
It says what percent?
Right, now explain.
You touch the hair. 9.5 divided by 25 is 0.38%.
To solve it, you divide it by 25, right? Why? You're absolutely right. Why? That's the part that's confusing them for some reason. Why? To get There you go. Look at it. Look at it. I gotta solve for x. If I divide by 25, I want a different color. If I divide this by 25 and this by 25. What is 25 divided by 25? What is 25 divided by 25? 1. So that says 1x now. Do you agree? And 9.5 divided by 25 is this 38%. 1x equals 38%. Yes, ma'am. Now I want to do it. I like it. 39 is 52% of what number? 39 is 52%. I don't see your equation. Can't let you go. I gotta see that equation. 39 is I walk around, I gotta see the equations.
I got it. I like it. I'm not here.
Well, you have to do it this way for a while. All right, talk to me, Matthew.
So you write it out, and then
Very good. Absolutely correct. Nice job. Okay, 39 equals 52% of x. Divide both sides by 0.52. X equals 75. So in that case, 39 is 52% of 75. That's our number. Okay?
Well, I like these ones.
You got 6 of them right there. Do them. And I'll kind of walk around. These are totally on your own, and then we'll get the answers.
It's not hard.
Good. Absolutely correct. That was a tricky one right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a percent, so we're gonna see it as a decimal. Always make sure you go back and look at that. Okay? Now, how did you do this one? Did you use? Okay, well, the equation is equals percent times number. That's the equation. Is equals percent times the number. Is that what you did? Okay, now you just solve it. If that's true, then I agree. So 2 times get my brain working. It may be me. What number is? Yeah, you're right. You're right. 2 is 10% of 20, I agree. I agree. Did that come out as 0.00, right? Percent is always out of 100th place, right? So you have to move the decimal two places, so what's your percentage there then? Bring it over to the right, 2 places. Because now you're going to multiply by 100.
What did you get?
Understand what I'm saying now? Okay. This one's not correct. Go to number 1.
Why are you going up
Cooper,
there?
leave her alone.
I don't want to.
Nice job, Riley. Glad you did this.
bad.
Give me a side line. This, number 2. What number is 150% of 150% of goes into parentheses. So you see what you did wrong? Okay. I need somebody to do the second one. Somebody that hasn't got up there. You would have? Well, here, go do it. Go.
You can't say that to her.
Wesley, are you ready? You be ready on number 3, okay, Wesley? Number 3 is one that could trip you if you're not careful. Okay, that's fine. You get to do number 3. You are correct.
This thing.
Yeah, isn't it fun?
Hey, you know how I look at it? You have 3 equals. Number 3, you have 3 equals X times 600.
Okay, take a look at number 2. Is she correct? 150.
Yes,
Now 1.50 times 40 equals 60. Good. No, you did fine. Wesley, you got number 3? And I told you would do 4. Talk it through, Wesley.
3 equals X. And then we can left side.
All right. Now take a look at what he's got. And this one here was one that could have tricked you. 3 is what percent of 600? His equation's set up right. You divide both sides by 600, and I believe when you did that, you got a number that was 0.005. Was there anything else?
No.
Okay, so 0.005. But that's not a percent. That's not written as a percent yet. Agree? Percent is out of 100, so I need to multiply this by 100 to move my decimal over to a 0.5%. Okay? That was where it could have got you. Nice job, Wesley. All right, who did I give number 4 to? Go. Have you gone up? 18 is what percent of 20? Is he correct? 18 is 90% of 20. Absolutely. Who's got 5? All right, and I need number 6. I haven't given out to anybody to do yet.
You had to push the arrow.
There you go. Miss Shelley, pick somebody for number 6 for me, please. Huh? Yeah, I know. Don't you love it? Shout out a number if you want.
13.
Who's 13?
Oh, Lena.
You've already been up though, right? Nope.
He said it answered.
Okay. Is Cooper correct? 8 is 80% of what number? Good job. Do the last one.
You should have put 19. I would have. You should have put X.
$90 is 18% of what number? I do not agree with number 6. I do not agree with number 6. You set it up properly, but you didn't solve for the variable of x. I've got 0.18 times x. How do I solve that one? Get up there. He's got it. He's got the equation right, but how do you solve it? That's why I chose you.
See, because I don't have my papers.
Okay, but that's why I'm going to erase this one, okay? Yep. There we go. X equals 500. I agree with that. Number 6, Landon. X wasn't by itself. And so to get X by itself, you had to divide both sides by 0.18. That was the division one. Okay? Now, Mrs. Rakestraw, this is all dumb and I'll never use it. Is that what you think?
Yes.
Guess what? How many of you like to go out to eat?
Yeah.
How many of you like to go buy new tennis shoes? How many of you like to go buy a new gun? Or a new bow? All right. There is a sticker price on everything we do. But then there is something that Uncle Sam calls the sales tax.
Uncle Sam.
And I'm glad you're listening because sales tax adds to the cost of your items. In this particular case, this person has gone out to eat. Gone out to eat. Find the percent of sales tax that was on the food. So look at what they gave us. I know $1.65 is what percent of what was the total of the food?
29.15.
No. The food itself was $27.50. So I've got $27.50 times X. And I need to know because it says find the percent. So what's the sales tax that was put on this food? They charged them $1.65. What percentage is that? Am I going to solve this by multiplying or dividing?
Dividing.
Dividing. Jillian, why would I divide this one? You have to use the inverse operation because X is attached to the total of the food. Good. So I've got to divide. What is the sales tax? What is the cost of the sales tax? What percentage, Michaela? 6%. So X equals 6, and when you want to know how do I show it, go back to the story. What was it asking me for? It was asking me for the percent. So now I throw the percent symbol on it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's just like kind of complicated repeating decimal. Like, would we just put 6%, or like would we have to round it up?
Let me look at it. $1.65 divided by 27.50. I get 0.06. Okay? And maybe that's something that we need to show, because let me erase this. X equals 0.06,
Oh, I was looking at the stuff.
but it's asked me for percent, so my percentage is 6%.
I know I did wrong. I was looking at the subtotal.
Okay? And that's how I know it's 6%. All right, now then, find the amount of the tip that's 16%. Now, let me tell you a little bit about that. Tip is figured on total cost of the meal itself, not on Uncle Sam's part. Okay? So I want to know, what is 16% of what the food cost? What was the cost of the food? $27.50. So I've got to take $27.50, multiply it by 16%, and I will find out how much money I should leave on the table for the hostess, for the server. How much money, and I guess oftentimes hostess is a little bit of a fancier name. The common name maybe be the waiter or waitress. Okay, the person that brings you your food and your drinks and takes care of you while you're there. How much money am I going to leave for them as a way to say thank you? Yes, it's their job, but have you ever been to a restaurant where you've had a really good waitress with your family? And have you been to a restaurant where you had a really stinky waitress?
Yes.
Does it make a huge difference in the way that your meal goes for you?
Yes.
It does. Darton, how much money should I give the waitress?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you multiply 27.5 times 0.16? Okay, get her done for me. How much money should I leave for this waitress? Nope. How much money should I leave, Javen? Close. It's not 400, it's $4.40. Now then, does anybody know what minimum wage is right now?
Yes. How much you have to pay a waiter?
Pardon?
7 $7.25.
$7.25. Okay, a waitress or a waiter does not make minimum wage because the government says, or the owners say, hey, they're going to get all these tips. If they do a really good job, they're going to make lots of tips. And it's nothing for a really good waitress in a nice restaurant to make an extra $100 a night if they've done a really good job. Okay, but the thing is, they're only getting paid maybe $2 something an hour. So that $100 is just bringing them up to normal wages. Okay? So tips are really important when you go out to eat. And it's something to think about when you even at Sonic they tip. And some people tip at Sonic because even they don't get paid minimum wage. Yes, sir.
Some of the establishments, if you like tip at the front desk, the owner.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that, and that's a crooked owner, and I wouldn't want to work for them. Any questions on what we're doing right now? If you look, you've already got at the next slide. You will have the assignment, and I expect, and you're going to get a chance or an opportunity